Seems an age since we were down in Palmanova, but here we are again. Today's the 5th of November.
Bonfire night.
Bonfire night, happy bonfire night. We usually have celebrations here in Mallorca, and there were some that were planned, but they all seem to have been cancelled last minute. So no fireworks for us, no bonfires for us, just a walk along the front. Lots to tell you, and so let's get on with it. Yes, it does seem an age since we were last in Palmanova, and obviously things have changed. You just take a look at the beach, all of the sunbeds have gone, there are no flags up, so there's no lifeguard on duty, because at the end of October that's when the season ends. If we look across the road, which is where the businesses are, Mai Tai, Il Tano, Prosecco, they look to be open, so it's not all closed, just a few places. And the Fergus Hotel just across the way, that's open too. So we've not been down to Palmanova. Nita hasn't been down to Palmanova for nearly 2 months, I think, because she's been in England, and then I went across to England, and we got back last week. We've been back here in Mallorca for a week now, back to work, back to normality. The weather's been really up and down. You can see today that it's actually warmer than I expected. I was expecting it to be quite cool, but it's quite warm. The sun's trying to break through the clouds. The sea looks fairly calm. As we got out of the car, it seemed to be blowing a gale, so not quite sure what's going on. Here's the Can Blanc open. People out having a coffee, having a beer. We need to join them. It's Friday afternoon. It's one of those afternoons when I'm skipping school. So we've come down to Palmanova. It's the first time we've been out for a walk.
First time on a Friday afternoon.
For a while. Oh, for you at all, because
yes.
Anita's been away for all this time. She's been away because our youngest daughter had a baby, and Anita went over to help, and then I went over after the event when everything was all nice and shiny. And our little baby granddaughter Savannah was born. Lovely little girl, and Luna has a sister now. So it was great because we had the opportunity of getting all the family together, and for one day or one short few hours, the whole family was together, so it was really good, and that was another reason for us to go off to the UK. But we're back in Mallorca now, and we've got no plans at the moment to go anywhere for the time being, so we seem to be settled here for the winter. And there has been a change in the weather. From the end of October, it just seems to have gone a little bit cooler, and certainly the last week has been very unsettled. If any of you get an opportunity, have a look at Calarate Jarda, because yesterday in Calarate Jarda they had the most amazing hailstorm, and there were inches and inches of hail on the ground. It looked like a scene from a Christmas card. It was covered in snow. Well, it wasn't snow, it was hail. We do quite often get hail, and today was predicted storms, but not quite here.
Yeah.
Not quite here yet, Anita says. Looking out to sea, there's no big clouds, and the clouds that there are quite high, but anything can come. Listening to the news on my way home just a couple of hours ago, they were talking about a really big storm building up in the Mediterranean. I'm pretty sure it said to the southeast of the islands, and could be heading towards the island, or certainly towards the mainland, and that might happen in the next few hours, so I might need to batten down the hatches. We're approaching the steps, so just going to turn the videos off for a time, just have a little look along the beach here. A few little waves and a few little ripples, and I can feel a breeze and I hope it's not having too much of an effect on the sound. I know that sometimes it does. But I'll join you at the top of the steps. I made it to the top of the steps without too much of an incident. I'll just carry on walking around. What I would like to do is thank everyone for all the wonderful kind messages that we've received over the past few weeks. We love to see and read those messages, and all the new subscribers, thank you very much for subscribing. That's what encourages us to make the videos. Just looking out in the distance, you see lots of little dark triangles. There must be some sailing regatta or something going on in the distance there, and they must be quite big because they're a long way away and we can see them. And there's one or two boats out here in the bay. All looks a lot quieter. Just across the wooden bridge here. I met one of the viewers from Scotland, Brian, and he'd actually printed out a lot of photographs from some of our walks, and this part of Palmanova, hidden away just in these bushes here, and you don't always see them. If you don't look, you miss it. You can walk straight past. But in a way, there are some creatures or dinosaurs or things that have been made out of the trees that are here, and some of the pictures he included were of those wooden sculptures, those tree sculptures. So thanks for those, Brian. It's good to meet you, and good to meet all the other people we've met over the last year and a half of making these videos. We've just come to the second beach, and it's actually quite astounding. It's completely empty. There's nobody here. I can see a couple. There's a couple on the beach.
I think maybe tomorrow it'll be busy.
Yeah, come tomorrow, come Saturday, the weekend, if the weather's good, you'll get some people coming from Palma and spending a little bit of time on the beach. But at the moment, that beach is completely empty. Oh, we're going down some steps. I'm going to turn the videos off again.
It's a kite surfer or something.
There's somebody in the water over there. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Floundering.
They seem to have something that's blowing away. They don't seem to be handling very well. One person walking a dog, a couple of seagulls, and one couple sitting on the beach. And it's November the 5th, so that's what it's like here in November. The temperature is probably a little bit colder than I would have expected it to be for this time of the year, but it's probably around about 20 degrees. If I see a thermometer as we're walking past one of the pharmacies, I'll give you an update on that. It certainly doesn't feel cold. I did come out dressed for cooler weather. Anita was a little bit unsure as she got out of the car whether she needed a scarf or a jumper and whatever else she might have needed.
Gloves.
Across the road here we've got the Tropico Hotel. That's being closed pretty much all the way through. Lots and lots of questions and comments about that particular hotel. The Tropico cocktail bar, which is next door, was open for briefly over the summer, but that too now is closed up, and it seems totally different. Just walking along the promenade here,
It's like a different place.
it's suddenly become deserted. So a few weeks ago when we were here, there would be people milling around, particularly at this time. It's like lunchtime, and that's one of the things we intend to do now, is to find somewhere to go and have a bite to eat. And there'd be other people walking around with similar ideas. But today, we're almost on our own in Palmanova. I did mention that it is the 5th of November, and in Magaluf, the square behind BCM, they plan to have a bit of a party, maybe let some fireworks off, and it was advertised. Lots of people were interested, lots of people reserved places to go, and the money was destined for charity, any money that was going to be raised. And then a few days ago, the announcement that the whole thing has been cancelled. I'm not sure why, and the speculation is concerning the permissions that are necessary from the ayuntamiento, the council here. If you hold any sort of event, then you have to have permission to do that, anything that's extraordinary. And letting off fireworks is one of those things where you need health and safety permissions, and so it's become difficult to have things like that. I mean, years ago when I did the Scouts, we used to have our bonfire parties in Magaluf, and we used to get permission, and the only thing they asked us for was insurance. And because we were associated with the Scouts in the UK, we were a BGA, British Group Abroad, and we paid our dues to the British Group Abroad in the UK, then they covered us for insurance, and the ayuntamiento were happy to accept that. And so for years we used to have a bonfire party, and it used to raise lots of money. It used to keep the Scouts going for the whole year, so it was very, very useful. But we stopped doing that some time ago. I think it got a bit more... what actually happened was they built on the land where we were having the bonfires, across the road from Roosters, for any of you who remember that. It's now a tarmac car park and a sports centre, so we're no longer able to use that particular area, and we never managed to find anywhere else before the Scouts started to... Well, we stopped doing that and started doing other things, really. Sadly, there are no more UK British Scouts on the island. Nobody came forward to take it over. Some people suggested they would, but it never really materialised. It takes a lot of time, effort, energy, and ends up costing you money. So nobody took it over, and there's no Scouts of the British variety here in Mallorca. There are Spanish Scouts, two varieties of those. One is the Catholic Scouts, and the other is the Scouts that are more traditional, like the Scouts that we have in the UK. And we have actually done joint things with them in the past. So no Scouts. So currently the only thing I'm involved with like that is it's called the Leo Club, which is a charity organisation for young people, and it's associated with the Lions Club. So they sponsor us, and I have a group of Leos, and they do things for charity. They raise money and they run it themselves. I'm just the adult supervisor, and they decide what we do with any money we raise, or they decide what events that we're actually going to attend and what things we can do. It's been really difficult, obviously, over the last year because of the COVID restrictions, and it still is difficult because some of the things that we have done in the past we can't do anymore. So one thing we used to do on a weekly basis was to have a bake sale. So the students would bake cakes, bring them in and sell them to other students, and with the current restrictions we're not allowed to do that. So we're just coming up to the Calablanca Hotel, and that's all closed up. It's all closed, and I think that's probably what I would have expected. So the Fergus Hotel further back was open, Calablanca closed, and just in front of us we're coming up to the Santa Lucia. Santa Lucia is looking closed, and because they're closed, because the hotels are closed, the businesses along this part of the promenade are also closed. So looks as though they're now shut up for the winter time. They'll have winterized their premises and hopefully be back next year. Now, one of the things that the government were trying to do and are still trying to do, is to make Mallorca a 365-day-a-year resort, and they were trying the hardest to persuade the hoteliers and the travel companies to stay open throughout this particular winter. But the hoteliers said no, it's just not worth their while, and so the hotels have lots of the hotels have now started to close, and there is not going to be very much in this part of the island in terms of winter tourism. But lots of delegates have just gone off to London, where there is a World Tourism Fair market, and the one thing that they're really trying to push is year-round tourism. So they're trying to attract people for different reasons, really. We get the sun and sand in the summer. It's a restaurant that is open. It's the Chinese. The Happy Chinese is open. So what they're trying to do in London is to persuade people to come for different things at different times of the year. So the normal sun, sea, sangria type in the summer, although they're very much against booze tourism, and that one has it seems as though that might be getting a bit of a hammering. People who just come here and treat it as a big drinking session, that's really not the sort of tourism that the local government wants. They want a better quality, is what they're going to talk of. Say it's going to be called. They're going to want a better quality of tourism, and to some extent that happened this year, because they were saying that though they might have had less tourists, they were spending more money, and so the amount of money spent was not that much different from 2019, which was pre-pandemic. So now they've got to promote the winter tourism, and it's going to be different types of people that come in the winter to those that come in the summer. People who come in, oh, it's getting windy around here now. People who come in the winter time used to be, when we first came here, used to be the pensioners. They used to come for 3-4 weeks at a time. They had a great time. The hotel put lots of things on for them, and here we are at the Santa Lucia, and it used to be open all through the year, and in the winter time you'd have people coming to stay for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, and they'd be having a great time. We used to come down and have a drink in the bar and listen to some of the entertainers here. And just as I'm walking past, I'm reminded that Shauna's coming next year in July, and we're looking forward to seeing you, Shauna. And it'll be a bit different then than it is now. There'll be a lot more people around. So the hotel's only been closed a few days now. Coming to the third beach. The other type of tourism that they want to encourage is sports tourism. Get people coming to the island to partake in whatever sport they're interested in. And we've got the typical ones. The golf has always been popular on the island. We've got the cycling, which has become very popular and is being promoted by some of the great athletes that we have in the UK who come here each year to do their training. I mean, we've got great mountains to cycle up and down, all sorts of different terrains, and gives them an opportunity to try that. So cycling is another one. We've had beach volleyball, which is popular. We've also had rugby on the island, beach rugby, and we do have rugby clubs here, and the police come to have a football tournament, an international football tournament. So all of these things do already exist. It's just a matter of expanding them so that more people get involved. People actually being in the sea over there. Looks a bit chilly. It's very, very windy, so I'm guessing there's quite a lot of noise on the microphone, so apologies for that. It is a bit breezy today, and we've just gone round a corner. It seems to have changed again. There's a few bigger waves on the sea, but again very quiet on this part, and we're on a promenade with virtually nobody, and what used to be open a few days ago is all closed up. And I know A lot of you say how sad it is to see Palmanova like this, but it's normal. Normally in November these places close for the season, and the people who've been working in them, many of them will be working 7 days a week from early in the morning to very late at night. So they've worked really hard over the summer, and so the winter is when they take all of their days off in a go. So it all depends what the virus does, and but the intention really is to start the season before Easter, or by Easter for sure. In the past, Easter was the time that the season started, and then some hotels would leave it till May because the weather was a bit warmer then, and it's gradually crept on to the middle of May or even the end of May. So they've got the problem of persuading people to come out and persuade the tourist companies to get people here. So we'll see, that will all happen next year, but in the meantime people have got to book their holidays. I'm just going past now the hotel here, which is all closed up, another one closed up. This is the San Matias, and we're now on the San Matias beach. The San Matias beach is looking equally empty. One of the new bars that opened last year was CISO, and this is CISO here. It's open, tables are set, but because there are so few hotels open, there are no clients here, and they've got music playing, and when there's music playing my video might have to get cut off at this point because I get copyright problems. So we'll see whether this manages to stay in the video, or maybe I'll have to cut it out. We're just coming up to the children's park, which is now fully open, so the children can actually come and play in the park. I can feel a bit of a breeze now, it's feeling a bit cooler, the sun's edging down, but the hour changed as well last weekend, just as it did in the UK and the rest of Europe. So it now goes dark very early in the evenings, which is I don't know. In Spain they were talking last year, the year before, of not changing the hour, and then obviously the coronavirus happened and they forgot about it, and it wasn't really so important. I've heard it spoken about again recently. Hello. 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 You've watched the videos?
I've seen you watch your
Jag har sett every night in Sweden. Jag har sett film på film från överallt.
So you're back.
Stephen and Anita on YouTube,
Yes, 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 yes.
So you're back again.
We're back, we've been to England, we've had a new granddaughter, and so we're back in Mallorca again.
Då har jag sett det filmer, även då när vi var här hos er vad var det, förra hösten?
Last.
Ja, det var in the people in the vista sol.
Very, very quiet now though, isn't it? There's not many people around.
I'm watching you all the time from Sweden.
From Sweden?
Yes, but no, I'm here for the winter.
Yes,
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And you'll be in the next video.
Keep
We'll keep them coming. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And that's one of the things that keeps us going. It's people like that who watch the videos, and there's a whole group from Sweden. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting us, and they obviously enjoy that, and they come here for the winter time when it's I guess a lot cooler in Sweden. We're getting towards the end now of the Palmanova part. It goes then into Torrenova and then into Magaluf, and we'll leave Torrenova and Magaluf till another day. I'm very curious to see what Magaluf is like at this time of the year, because this part of Palmanova is unbelievably quiet. So places that we would normally come to, even at this time of the year, are completely closed up. So here's the Cantina Sol, who've been here for a drink, and Origin up above. Now they may well still be open. The chairs are out, probably in the evening time. They were talking about having a big screen on, but the Olive Tree, which is one of the places we would always head for, is all closed up and finished, gone, closed by the looks of things for the winter. So I think we're just about at the end. Shall we say goodbye? Thank you very much for watching, and hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video, wherever that may be. Bye for now.